Alright guys, so today we're talking about Anthem. And so if you don't know what Anthem is, I did a lot of videos on it when the game first came out. It's the 3-year anniversary, so I figured let's talk about it. Now if you haven't watched my last video, which I believe was on the 2-year anniversary, they stopped supporting the game. They pretty much just gave up. They were debating if they wanted to pull a Battlefront 2 and try to support it and fix it and make it better, or if they wanted to just give up and let it die. So that's what they decided to do. So, you know, that was probably where this should have stopped, but I figured it's been a year. Let's see what's going on. Is the game, you know, how does it hold up? Does it still look good? Does it run well? Is there still a store? And this will delay my Dying Light review a few more days. So that's really the main reason we did this. So I'll start out by saying that this hub is just as obnoxious as I remember it being. You can't run, you gotta walk everywhere. I was very lucky that I remembered how to navigate it and get to where I needed to get to, but nothing's changed here. The game looks really good in some areas and not so good in others, especially when you're turning, like with the motion blur and the frame rate, it can look a little bit rough. That's not what anybody cares about. Let's talk about the actual gameplay, and what I think is more interesting is the store. So I was actually very surprised to find that while there still is seasonal and crafting and all of that stuff, there's stuff in these sections that you can still buy crystals for with real money. The featured section, the section they were constantly updating and putting new stuff in, like any item shop in any game ever, is empty. I thought it was just my game at first, but it's down, it's empty. There is no item shop. Like I said, you can still buy crystals. So, you know, for an EA game, I was just surprised that they wouldn't let you still spend your money on it, even though they've given up on the game. But as far as the javelins and all of that stuff, there's no new customization. It's still like the same 3 or 4 armor pieces that launched with the game, which is quite disappointing. And this actually got me quite sad going back and playing this, going through looking at all the customization and just changing like the material and the color and all of that stuff of my armor and making my guy look cool, and just thinking about how this game could have been so good. But let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay, and this is where it still holds up, right? If you've watched my review or any of like the 14 videos I made on this game, the gameplay itself, it's the same problem that every fucking game has. The gameplay itself is really good, it works well, you're basically Iron Man, like there's no reason this shouldn't work. On paper and in the actual game, it's fantastic. The problem is progression and the actual amount of content that's there. It's a Destiny 2 problem, right? What's there is really good, but there's only 10 hours of it there. And instead of going for, you know, 3+ years, whatever, how long Destiny 2's been out, constantly releasing new content and expansions and fixes and all of that stuff. Now, granted, they cost money and the game eventually went free to play, but that's a whole nother video. And fixing it all up, they decided it wasn't worth it and just gave up. I mean, honestly, just the sheer lack of content. I mean, this is worse than Destiny levels, right? I mean, Destiny, there's no campaign in it anymore, like they completely stripped that out, which is the stupidest thing ever. But the game's free to play and they have all these expansions that are free through Game Pass, and there's a lot of content there now. This, you know, I realized that the anniversary was coming up on Monday. This video is coming out Wednesday. I definitely could have played through the entire game in that time frame and still made this video. But, you know, I wasn't going to do that because the story isn't great. I can't tell you anything that happened, so clearly that means it wasn't that good. But the flying's great. Like, the gameplay is fantastic. It's the best flying there is in a game. It looks really good other than the frame rate. If this had a Series X version, I think this would probably be one of the better looking games out there. All the underwater areas look absolutely fantastic still. But, yeah, so this was just a depressing video to put out, talking about Anthem 3 years later. If you played Anthem and you loved it, let me know. If you played it and you hated it, let me know. And let me know what you think they should have done, right? If giving up was the right thing to do, if you think it could have made a comeback like Destiny and Battlefront 2 and all of that, or if it should just stay dead. But we'll probably won't do another one of these next year because, like I said, there's nothing new here to talk about. I just wanted to finalize the whole situation, come back and visit it, and that's all I got for this one.